our responsibility is, to me, scaled access to real estate. This is the best industry on the planet that many of us don't know actually exists. Like I grew up in northern Mississippi. I didn't know about land development. I didn't know about vertical development. None of this was available to me. So I want to build awareness for a real estate career in all pockets of our country. So job one is that we contribute by creating free scaled awareness to our sector. The second piece is thinking about what attributes the employees of tomorrow need to have. So right now we're building tons of courses around introduction to AI, data science, data analytics, like things that we think are going to be vital to tomorrow's employees. Like that is our responsibility, which is scaled access and then specialized training so that if you're a student excited about our sector, you have free access to getting some of these specialized training.
Today, I'm joined by Cedric Bobo, CEO of Project Destined, an organization creating pathways into real estate for students across the country. Project Destined partners with universities and industry leaders to help students build real skills, gain real exposure, and develop an ownership mindset. In this conversation, we'll explore how Project Destined works and what opportunities it creates for students interested in real estate. Hello, Cedric. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Outstanding. It's great to be here with you, Jeff.
Hi, Cedric. I'm Lisa. It's great to be here with you today. Been in a couple of your Project Destined Bridge programs, and I'm excited to be here on an interview with you and Jeff.
Lisa, it's great to have a chance to meet you. I'm thrilled to have you as a part of our community and look forward to having you in more programs.
Thank you.
So, for those hearing about Project Destined for the first time, help us to understand more about the purpose of the organization and the impact it's trying to make.
Well, Jeff, first, again, excited to be here with you and to spend some time with you in the University of Washington community. So our platform is purely focused on one thing, which is training students how to become owners in their own communities. I grew up in a small town in Mississippi. I always wanted to become an owner. I had no idea how to do it. And our focus is really helping you understand that while there is change happening in your community, you don't need to be a victim of it. You can participate. And our job is to give you the resources, the training, the networks to be able to participate in that change. And so we've trained 30,000 students since we launched in 2016. We've got over 100 different customized programs, 20 professors that work with us. And every single week we spend having conversations like this, trying to learn from those in our community and build courses and programs that respond to the goals of both students and employers in helping students earn opportunities. That's really the focus of the work that we do.
Great. So you mentioned 100 customized programs. Help us understand
Yeah.
what these programs look like and how they're tailored differently to universities or students.
Yeah, and I would say it all for me starts with career. I mean, you have incredible talented people like Lisa. Our goal is to figure out what students want to pursue in their career because there are all kinds of different paths you can take in real estate, but it starts with your own interest. And then on the other side, our employers whose worlds are continuously changing. Look at what's happening today in terms of artificial intelligence. And so we look at both students and their goals, we look at employers and some of their needs, and then we try to be part of that middle layer in complementing schools. So think about our work as you get an incredible degree from the University of Washington, you have all kinds of incredible courses. There may be a chance for us to build some specialized courses and programs. As an example, we have a course on affordable housing preservation that we built with Jonathan Rose Companies, a really sort of unique part of affordable housing that many students may not be able to take a class on. We have a 6-week class that you take learning the basic of affordable housing preservation. There's also a speaker series with Jonathan Rose. There's a scholarship tied to it. There's site visits. And so by the time you finish that program, you've actually learned about the industry. You know how to build a financial model. You have real skills where you can be more valuable to the industry. Maybe you work at Jonathan Rose, maybe you don't, but now you have their brand tied to your resume along with your incredible degree. I think that sets you up to both be a participant in your community, but also earn outstanding early career opportunities. That's really how our programs are customized. It's both education, it's exposure to speaker series. Typically, there's some kind of site visit to it, and I think it's an immersive experience in that regard.
Great. So I understand that Project Destined teaches students to think like owners. What is that ownership mindset like, and how do you see the students transform through the program?
Yeah, I think that most students probably begin school thinking it is simply about earning strong grades, which is important, and picking up these sort of technical skills. But I mean, I think all of us know it's a mixture of things. Yes, it's a strong educational foundation. Yes, it's technical skills, but it's also networking. It's building sales-based skills, right? So we try and bring all of those together. Sometimes it's a pitch competition where you're actually analyzing a deal and you're pitching it on a team. So you're building teamwork skills, sales skills with technical skills. Sometimes it's a bridge program where it's a class, it's a speaker series and a site visit. But to me, those kinds of experiences sort of complement academia and they help you build a mentality around like there's 30 other people just like me on a Saturday morning call or an evening class. These are all folks who I think have an ownership mentality where they're taking responsibility for their careers and building the networks, the resources to be able to thrive and take advantage of what's going on in the country. And the best example for me today is that I think many students are nervous and fearful around AI. Well, there's always going to be change in our country, especially in real estate. But to me, the ownership mentality means like, hey, AI brings some new tools. Let me become well versed in AI literate. So as CBRE or Jonathan Rose or Brookfield are looking for talent to understand both the real estate and the technology, I can be that person and take advantage of it. So our mentality is really about taking advantage of the resources and opportunities that are in front of you.
So you mentioned you partner with major companies to create
Yeah.
these bridge programs for students. What do
Mm,
employees or industry partners gain most out of working with Project Destined, and how do you balance or design programs for
mm.
both the students and employees?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I think that companies get with us is a true partner. For the first 3 years, look, my career is in private equity. I spent 20 years, buying companies, buying real estate for a living, then began building Project Destined in 2016. I didn't have a single corporate partner for the first 3 years. It was my wife and I, and I'm not sure my wife knew she was my partner. And so the beginning stages of it was me trying to find a way to add value. And what I began to realize is there were a couple of challenges. One, companies wanted to find talent in lots of different places, but didn't always have the resources to get to every single campus where that talent might be available. So one of the things that we do is that we provide scaled access to really high quality talent. Like every Saturday morning, 100 new students do our intro to real estate course all over the country. Who wouldn't want to hire someone that's doing Saturday morning courses, evening courses, that's sector specific? It's all real estate. So one is this scaled pipeline. The second piece is that while lots of students may be familiar with CBRE, JLL, Brookfield, there are lesser known real estate firms that are doing incredible work that students have no idea about. So I think we also build brand awareness on campus. So maybe you want to go into affordable housing, but you haven't heard about Jonathan Rose and Amazon's doing affordable housing. So I think we build both scaled access. We also build some brand recognition, and then we measure every single data point. Like I know every single University of Washington student has actually taken any of our courses. I know if they arrived on time, if they left early, if they persisted. So we have all this data on which students are most interested in all of these areas. So companies get that benefit as part of our work. And we have partners like JLL that's hired 170 students through us over the last 3 or 4 years. CBRE has hired 150 through us. Brookfield, I think it's nearly 60. So they're getting great talent that are thriving in the industry. I think from a student side is that there's no cost to any of our classes. So the classes are all no cost to you. You have to compete to get in. You can take classes on construction management, on development. You can take classes on data centers. So there's every single topic you could imagine, all tied to jobs and led by professors who are adjuncts. So they are both practitioners, they're also teachers. So it's not all war stories, but there's also some industry knowledge there as well. So we try and sort of be that value added partner to both students as well as employers.
Yeah, you mentioned how
Mm,
students build skills through these bridge programs,
mm,
and I was wondering
yeah.
what kind of skills or behaviors do students consistently build in this program and help them stand
Mm,
out to internships or
mm.
full-time roles?
Yeah. I think number one is accountability. I mean, you've been in some of our programs and you know it, like being on time is 5 minutes early. You are never allowed to leave early, else you're no longer in our program. It's cameras on the full time. It's mandatory questions. Like you cannot be in one of our programs if you don't ask questions. I'm never doing these things to be punitive. I'm doing things that I saw that made me successful in the job. It was some of the soft skills, it was some of the behavioral attributes that contributed to my success. Yes, I was technically proficient, but also arrived early. I left late. Sometimes it was yes, sir, and no, ma'am. Like I was super respectful. And so I'm trying to help you build some of those attributes that will help you thrive and really connect with some of your more mature employers who really value some of those intangibles. So I think that's the foundation. And then we try and build classes that do a couple of things. Like, so I'll take affordable housing preservation again. So yes, I want to teach you some of the theory of what is involved in a LIHTC deal, but I also want to give you a chance to practice. So every single class that we teach is typically 2 hours a week for 6 weeks. Within those 2 hours, I'm going to teach you something for an hour, but I know to build confidence, it helps you to try it and to also network with others. So every class is an hour of training. And then there's 30 minutes actually have an activity where you work on in breakout rooms. And then you come back and we talk about it. And there's a quiz because I'm trying to make sure that if we were going to teach you how live tech works, do we actually do a good job? And a quiz lets me figure out if we actually did our job of making sure you understand it. So to me, it's about like that immersive educational experience combined with some strong behaviors that I think contribute to success. Part of your placement question was around, what do I think helps our students sort of differentiate themselves and earn those sort of strong outcomes? And, I would say that for me, the goal was to always make students differentiated. And I have found that employers, as they're going through your resume, they're real estate employers, they look at sort of skills and they look at brands. And if you've done programs with Brookfield and Eastfield and Amazon, there is some HR leaders going to say, hey, that's kind of interesting. Let me go and meet Lisa. It sounds like she's been doing some interesting things. So I think it is the skills. I also think it's the brands that are behind our programs that really help draw attention to employers that helps with our strong placement statistics.
Great, great. So for a school like the University of Washington, what would a successful partnership look like?
Yeah, I think there's a couple attributes to it. One, it's spending time with sort of the school's leadership understanding, sort of what are the goals of students? Like, where do they want to go and work? Is it development? Is it capital markets? Is it acquisition? So one is understanding what are the goals of the students. The second piece is thinking about what employers are there locally and nationally that we can support in building more attention for the school, right? Because our goal is to come in and to really complement what you all are already doing or maybe building some specialized courses and programs for these brands that you all think are important. So it may be a firm like Brookfield that we've actually worked with in Seattle. We're actually building a course on residential land development, actually building, you know, horizontal and vertical development sort of housing community. So it's actually building a specialized program like that because we know you have the technical talent around real estate, but now it's building some specialized knowledge, bringing Brookfield deeper into campus, which leads to stronger outcomes. So that's the kind of partnership that we love, which understanding what do students want to explore, affordable housing, land development, et cetera, and then building some complementary courses and programs that bring the right types of employers to campus.
Great. So looking ahead, how do you see Project Destined shaping the real estate talent pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, look at, our responsibility is to me scaled access to real estate. This is the best industry on the planet that many of us don't know actually exists. Like I grew up in northern Mississippi, I didn't know about land development, I didn't know about vertical development. None of this was available to me. So I want to build awareness for a real estate career in all pockets of our country. So job one is that we contribute by creating free scaled awareness to our sector. The second piece is thinking about what attributes the employees of tomorrow need to have. So right now we're building tons of courses around introduction to AI, data science, data analytics, like things that we think are going to be vital to tomorrow's employees. Like that is our responsibility, which is scaled access and then specialized training so that if you're a student excited about our sector, you have free access to getting some of these specialized training.
Great. So we've heard something about the program. I want to hear more about you. Can you share a little bit more about your personal background and what ultimately
Yeah.
led you into this and into real estate?
Look, I always wanted to become an owner. I'm from a small town in Mississippi. You hear me refer to it every 5 minutes because I'm deeply proud of it. But I was born on a farm that my great grandfather bought in the 1890s. I wanted to be an owner like him. I didn't know how to do it. I studied engineering in school to impress my mother. And then I did a year abroad at Oxford where I was still an engineering major, but I took a year studying politics and economics and I played rugby with folks who were doing investment banking. I decided to give it a try. I then spent 20 years in investment banking and private equity. And I started buying apartment buildings on the side. And I just fell in love with that. You could actually own buildings in your neighborhood. It was like bringing private equity to local communities. And so I got the bug for doing that while I was still working in a job. And the moment I had enough wealth to be able to strike out on my own, I wanted to build something where I could actually invest money in communities, but also teach. And so in 2016, I saw a movie about Detroit and about how much was happening there to redevelop parts of the city. I flew to Detroit and I convinced the mayor's office to partner with me and let me actually build a Saturday program teaching high school students how to buy buildings out of the Detroit Land Bank. I bought buildings with my students. It got a bunch of press. I got addicted, frankly. I did it again in Memphis. And I took my wife to a Jennifer Lopez concert. I met Alex Rodriguez, the baseball player who has some history in Seattle. And Alex said, let's do it together in Miami. And he and Jennifer really put us on the map. And so we went from 15 students in Detroit to when Alex was last involved, I think we were up to like 10,000 students. So he really accelerated our work by a thousand magnitude and really sort of helped us build a stable platform. So it was really kind of given a try at my passion, which was investing money and teaching.
Great. Yeah. So I would
Mm,
love to know a little more about your day to day and where you
mm,
spend your
mm.
time as the organization grows.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of my time in business development on multiple fronts in that, you know, I love building classes. So I'm always trying to talk to employers, trying to understand what's not working. What I mean by that is that every summer, including this summer, thousands, millions of students will join internships. And some of them will go well, some of them will be challenging. I'm always trying to figure out what didn't go well. Like, what were the skills and attributes that we're missing? Because that's where we should be building classes. And so part of my business development is figuring out from HR leaders, like, where are the gaps in skills? And then what are the schools that you would love to recruit at, but you don't have capacity to get to them? So I'm trying to always solve problems by reaching more schools and building more relevant classes. I spend a lot of my day just trying to figure out sort of those gaps. The other part is really trying to convince companies to kind of give us a try, right? So it may be give us a try letting us build a program focused on the retail sector, right? Then we built one with ICSC. It may be one helping us build a course on property management. So we try and get sponsors for all of our courses so that when Lisa Ando takes our class on property management, they're also speakers from Greystar. So the idea for me is finding the problems, building classes, and then branding them to some degree. Because Lisa would much rather take a class with me in Greystar on property management than just me on property management. So I'm trying to both find problems, education problems, right, and recruiting problems, and get employers who will support me in availing that training to the masses.
Yeah, it sounds like your day to day is very hands-on. Do you have a favorite project that you've worked on
Mm.
or you're especially proud of? And
Yeah.
what made it meaningful to you?
Yeah. So look, my favorite projects really mostly relate to Detroit because look, I was a guy who had been a banker and who had been a private equity person. I had never built an education platform. And in Detroit, when I walked into the Detroit mayor's office and said I wanted to build one, I think their response was that you don't know Detroit, you never taught a class, right? You never bought like local real estate like what we have available. So like what makes you think we could be successful? And I think, there's something about the challenge of building something you're passionate about, yeah, that will always make it your favorite project. So in that project, I went from seeing this movie in June of 2016. I had launched my first cohort by August 2016 with my first 15 students. I had bought my first building in Detroit by I think it was March of 2017. So less than a year, we'd gone from this seeing a movie and an idea to having our first cohort. And in the early days, I would actually buy buildings with my students. And so we had bought a building. We just bought two small duplexes. But now they're like four families living in those units. And we bought them, they were shells, they were dilapidated, they were sort of Detroit land bank assets. And now there's families living in those. And that project came about because I was working with 15 students trying to figure out what to pay for it, how to develop it. So that project is really meaningful for me because before I had A-Rod and Brookfield and Greystar, I had a decent idea. I had some smart students and a lot of really hustle and passion. So that's always sort of going to be my favorite one.
That's great. Great to hear. So
Mm,
Lisa was one of my
mm,
great students as well. And so I
mm.
always wonder, like, what if the students can remember anything I say? So I often ask people, like, or I tell the students, if you could remember just one thing I said today,
Mm,
it would be this or that. So maybe from your whole career
mm,
or a piece of
mm,
advice, if you could share just one thing
mm.
Lisa and other students may take away from to put in their memory bank, what might you
Yeah.
share with them?
So for me, curiosity has always been the secret to my success. It's just being fascinated by like how real estate works, what's going on in Detroit, what's happening in land development. So I think the curiosity mixed with gratitude is a superpower. And I think throughout your career, no matter what you pursue, whether it's real estate or investment banking or private equity or some combination of those things, if you can mix curiosity and gratitude, you will be incredibly successful. And what I mean by that is that I call and email people every day saying, will you do a call with me to talk about some topic? I have found if I ask them great questions and I send a thank you, whether it's a personal note or a handwritten note or an email, like I got a friend for life if I treat them well. So to me, I think no matter what you do, especially in real estate, just showing gratitude when people honor you with their time, it will help you make a lot of friends. And in real estate and in every public area, I think that you don't know what you want to pursue. Wherever you want to pursue likely involves lots of smart people. So the more smart people that are part of your village, part of your community, the more successful you will be. And I think curiosity starts that engine.
I love it. I love it. So,
Mm,
what a
mm,
program
mm,
you have. So, if people want to learn
mm,
more about you, Project
mm.
Destined, what's the best way for them to do so?
I would say please go on LinkedIn. Just look up Cedric Bobo, Bobo. It's kind of a unique name. Look me up on LinkedIn. Send me a note. I read every single note. And I love doing calls, just learning about what they're doing, and how we could be partners in solving fun problems.
That's great. I know I reached out to you through LinkedIn. That's how we connected. That's how this came about today. I knew Lisa had been in the program, so I reached out to her to be a part of this. So, I want to say thank you to you for what you do for the program, for the students at UW and
Mhm.
all across the nation. And just want to say thanks for coming on today.
No, Jeff, thank you. Thank Lisa. Thank the UW for actually just being supportive of our work. And Lisa, thank you for being part of our program and hopefully many programs to come.
And I just want to say thank you, Cedric, again from behalf of the students. This Project Destined has been an incredible program for me, and I know it's been beneficial for many other students. I've gained so much skills that I use on the interviews. Love talking about Project Destined, and I can't wait to be a part of more programs in the future.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jeff. Lisa, really, really grateful to you all. I hope we find more to do together. And thank you for the privilege of being able to join y'all today.